Okay, we're just going to have some quick DNSG updates. Thing two. How do we get this to go? There we go. So the group, besides having an annual meeting, which is always held around this time of year, typically the end of June, we have a number of other activities. Harris has led our outreach with the Egyptian Society of Diabetes and Lipidology. We've had presentations the last 2 years, and we'll have another one planned for this coming October. We also have a satellite symposium with the European Association for the Study of Diabetes coming. And we have a satellite symposium planned for the IUNS ICN in Paris at the end of August this year. In addition, we continue to have our joint sessions with ESPN. Rocco has been good enough to come to many of our sessions and present and to help coordinate the joint session. And we've also have a joint position paper with ESPN on sarcopenic diabetes. And we will be submitting that for publication very shortly. And we will continue to continue our collaborations with that group. There is a DNSG website. If you are not aware of it, please look at it. Jordi Salas has done a great job in updating that. And so please do look at it. Membership, this has been put to you a number of times. We're going to press it one more time. 2 presentations, a presentation and attendance at 1 other meeting, or the attendance at 3 meetings is enough to get you in the club. So if you're interested, please join. New members. We have 8 new members this year. Rocco has joined. Madeline from Canada. Karen Del Corta has presented a number of times now. Clemens, welcome. Gabrielle, Sangeeta Shyam from Spain, Diana, and Ligarda. So welcome all new members. Our future meetings. Jordi will be hosting us in Spain next year, and he will be presenting that to us shortly. Ursula and Maria will be hosting us in Finland in 2027, and we've just awarded the 2028 meeting to Italy, and I think it's planned for Napoli, which should be beautiful. 2029, we're still vacillating a little bit. There's interest from Croatia and from Norway, but we'll leave that open for now. And we're just going to have a guidelines update with Jeff Mechanic and Laura Chiaparoli are going to present. Thank you.
Thanks, Cyril. It's a pleasure to speak on guidelines again, and Laura and I are going to tag team this. We're going to be doing this together. Let me just sort of preempt. We've been discussing this the last couple of years, and actually in the past calendar year with Rocco, we've had that position paper, and then with Luke and John, an expert consensus paper on sarcopenia, muscle, the GLP-1s. And at this point, it looks like we're going to move forward with a technical approach to look at the evidence for this first topic, which will be nutritional management of patients who are being treated with the GLP-1s. And let me just give a little bit of background for that, and then Laura's going to go through some of the technical aspects of guideline development, and then we'll come back to what our pragmatic approach is going to be. And just to cut to the chase, it's going to be starting with a scoping review. This was a guidelines that DNSG had done a couple years ago in 2023, and the topic nutrition and diabetes methodology moving forward to continue with the EASD protocol, maybe enrich it with some of the features of the American Association of Clinical Endocrinology protocols, but pretty much it's going to be consistent with what is generally accepted to be what the protocols ought to be for guidelines. The timestamp is something we'll decide on. It may depend on the National Clearinghouse or what EASD mandates. It could be up to 3 years. It could be as short as 1 year. Timestamp means as new data becomes available, we have to publish a update. Generally, algorithms are done every year. Guidelines are done a little bit less frequently. And as I said, our thematic focus moving forward is going to be this nutrition, which will include muscle, which has been a little bit of a contentious topic. And that's the reason why we're going to actually go to the evidence. So it'll be a technical approach for this. So let me turn it over to Laura for the next few slides, and then I'll wrap up with the last slide.
Thanks, Jeff. So recently, the EASD published their standard operating procedure for the development of guidelines, and the kind of box to your left there kind of gives you a bit of a sense of the stepwise way in which it's done. I'm not going to go into things in detail, but just to give you a bit of a high level of how it's done. So Jeff mentioned the topic that we have. So the next couple of slides, we'll talk about a couple of just some guideline development principles. So the first kind of step is to get together our guideline development panel, we call it GDP, and make sure it's multidisciplinary and balancing things like people that may have some COIs, competing interests, things like that. We're going to include some patient partners in it as well. And then the way in which we'll approach going through the guidelines is from a PCOTS approach. And then the methods will follow systematic reviews and meta-analyses. Then eventually we'll get to coming up with the statements and then applying grade at the end. So for the guideline development panel, ideally we're going to aim for 8 to 10. That'll be an open call, which will invite all of DNSG members to join. We're looking at 1 to 2 chairs, 6 to 7 clinical and research experts, and then 1 or 2 methodological and experts, and 1 or 2 individuals with lived experience with diabetes. And then at that point, we'll then identify the evidence synthesis team, and that's the team that will conduct the systematic review and meta-analysis for the PCOT question. So we'll be using the PCOTS framework. Then like Jeff mentioned, we'll do a preliminary search to see what's out there. So if a meta already exists, then maybe it's an update. But if it hasn't been done, then we'll decide if it's something that's going to be undertaken. And we will be registering the meta-analyses that we'll do on a publicly available register. The approach is very similar to any of the other systematic reviews and meta-analyses that you've heard of. We follow Cochrane for the conduct and reporting according to PRISMA, and searching a variety of databases supplemented with manual searches. And then we'll also conduct risk of bias assessment using ROB2 if it's trials, and the Newcastle, Ottawa if it's cohorts. And then this is just the meta-analytical approach. I'm not going to go through it. We can chat more later if you like. And then using the grade approach to evaluate the evidence from the metas as well as in the guidelines that we come up with.
Okay, thank you, Laura. So now this is the last slide. We're just going to go over the logistical plan, and then we'll open it up for questions and comments, and you'll let me know when we run out of time. The first thing is to determine the focus, and we've sort of determined that. We get a mandate from leadership of what the focus is going to be, and then we'll move forward. It'll be nutritional recommendations. So there was a lot of interest in muscle, right, as you've heard from the talks this whole conference. But it's really, muscle will be subsumed within a larger or broader category of nutrition, which will be all macronutrition, micronutrition, perhaps eating behaviors, the social context, structural factors. And these are all the things that will be determined as we formulate our PICO questions. We'll be assigning the chair and the co-chair, which will be for content for this particular guideline. The methodologist will be Laura, and then we will put together a task force. You can see in the very last bullet, the deliverable. The next step is going to be we're going to send out an email, and anybody interested will let us know, and then we'll go ahead and put together a task force that'll be manageable and optimal. We'll then be formulating PICO questions. A lot of this will be through email. There may be an Delphi component to some of the processes here. And remember, this is going to be dovetailing off of those two documents that have already been done, the two white papers that have already been done by the organization to really give it that technical power behind it. And then it's a scoping review. Because one of the criticisms that just in the last 3 days that I've had just curbsiding, by coffee is, look, Jeff, there's just not enough data there. There's not enough evidence. Nobody's done a study looking at what people are eating when they're in these particular trials. Well, what we're going to do is we're going to survey that. Even if the heat maps are all red or don't really show there's enough data, that's still worthy of publication and communication. Yet, if we look at the heat maps and we see some areas of green where there's sufficient information and evidence that we can then subject it to a proper systematic review and meta-analysis, which is now mandated for guidelines, we'll embark on that. And then based on those results, we'll be able to formulate not only in doctor-to-doctor language, but in plain language, for our patients and for the public in addition to the healthcare professionals. Hopefully we'll have 5 to 10 recommendations, and we'll have a little portfolio of recommendations that are there. Here's where they'll be enriched by what we did at ACE. We can actually curate those recommendations as affirmed. Yeah, we agree with, nutrition's good. That's an affirmed concept, and emergent concept, something that could be brand new that emerges from this process. And besides the technical aspect of strength of evidence, to actually have the amount of consensus explicit in the document, and maybe even have cascades, which are alternate recommendations. So one of the problems with implementation of guidelines is you formulate a guideline in one source culture, but it's not portable to a target culture. And that's called transculturalization. And you need to have options. If you're recommending, for instance, GLP-1s, but you're talking about a part of the world that doesn't have the money, doesn't have the insurance, the reimbursability, the pipeline, the supply chain for it, then it's a moot point. So we need to make these guidelines really pragmatic and practical. We'll plan to have this thing done, all the technical review done. It's a bit ambitious, but I think we can do it by the end of the calendar year. That leaves us early 2026 for our writing, which Laura and I will sort of help shepherd through. And then by the time next year, hopefully we'll have this submitted, and we'll come back to you and then try to find a topic for the next year. So the next step is an email will be sent to all the DNSG members on the roles of the guideline development program, how to submit an application to join the program. And those that are interested, I would encourage you to throw your hat in. We'll go through everything. Hopefully we have a great panel. With that, let me open it up to questions. You guys have any questions? Any comments? Great. Any questions? Mike, you always have a question. No, really? Should I repeat everything or no? We're good. Okay. All right. Any questions from anybody?
Andrew.
Thank you. That sounds really great. It's really good to have that pre-plan there.
Thank you.
Could you just clarify the audience for the guideline? Is it the health professional who's prescribing it, or is it for the patient who's taking it, or is there any opportunity to do two at parallel?
Yeah, this is a great question because there are a lot of issues that come up with guidelines, and we're fortunately not going to be reinventing the wheel. So the answer is that we transparently stipulate who the audience is. Right. So you want to say who the audience is in terms of the healthcare professionals, who the audience is in terms of the patients. our aspiration, our hope is that because we'll have a plain language component to this, that it'll be not only for healthcare professionals, but also for the public, for our patients, though that's something that we can vet and decide on as we go through the process.
So it's health professionals.
Healthcare professionals,
That's great.
definitely,
Wonderful.
and possibly also the public.
Yep, that's wonderful. Thank you.
You're welcome, Clemens.
I think it's a great initiative and very needed. I'm just wondering, do you see the possibility to also use that for lobbying to funders for basically data acquisition where we see it is missing? So basically, if we see that there are data is missing, can we use this to also target large funders to actually fund the research that is needed?
Another great question. In fact, the real purpose is you have to assemble scoping, systematic reviews, and guidelines along what we call a knowledge translation platform, which is the natural evolution. At the beginning, you want to identify research gaps, and that's your scoping review. And that's really the deliverable of a scoping review, to identify the research gaps. And then the audience, what do you do with those research gaps? So yes, it could go to industry, it could go to other academic organizations. These are the studies that need to be done according to the DNSG. For instance, the systematic, by the way, the scoping review also can identify knowledge gaps. So research gaps are questions without answers. Knowledge gaps are answers without awareness, the education part. You can do heat maps looking at secondary references, secondary publications, meaning, are there editorials on those primary references? Are people aware of those primary references? And then you can generate heat maps and address where education needs to be done. A good example of that was in COVID. There were a lot of people around the world who didn't recognize, weren't aware of the data connecting cardiometabolic risk and obesity with COVID severity and hospitalization, et cetera. So that would be the knowledge gaps. Practice gaps, that's guidelines. So the guidelines are helping to address the practice gaps. And then the other component is we need to embed a device for optimizing implementation. So this isn't just a moot exercise. So we can audit the implementation, get feedback, and then it's a living document that evolves over time. Any other questions? I think I'm out of time. Okay, great. Thank you. Look forward to working with you.
Thanks, Jeff. That was fantastic. Just a couple. John, do you want to come up? We can. Is Sarah Madavi in the audience? It's here. No. Anyways, we have her purse. We're holding it. I'm gonna allow you. John's going to close the meeting. I just want to thank everybody for attending. I think it's been a fantastic meeting, great presentation, great discussions and questions. I hope everybody's enjoyed it. And I'm going to pass it over to John to thank many, many people.
First, I'm going to pass it over to Hannah, our vice president, who's going to make a remark.
Well, how did you like the meeting? Anybody enjoyed it? Let's give a round of applause. Thank you, our Canadian group, for organizing the meeting. We've enjoyed it so much. Such a great program, and the connections that we've made, it's just wonderful. And let me also take the opportunity to thank Cyril for chairing the DNSG board for the past 3 years. A lot of work has been done, so let's thank Cyril together. Thank you.
Thank you, Hannah. So let me just extend my thank you to the attendees that braved through these last 3 days. I think it was some great science, but thank you for your participation. We were looking back and doing counts late into the afternoon and noting there were over 100 people, certainly for the UPF discussion and even today. So thank you for your very vigorous attendance. We want to thank our speakers, many of whom came a long way, and for their great talks. To the abstract presenters who gave really fantastic talks, especially our trainees, thank you very much. I think we all learned a lot and appreciate our chairs, many of whom were tapped last minute to be chairs. Thank you for being chairs, for lack of planning on our part, but thank you for being chairs and stepping up. I want to thank a couple of special people, amazing people. So Diana, who did all the video and coordinated the Zoom from the back, and has been taking pictures in the evening, and Sabrina, who was the maestro at the front that was ensuring the presentations were up. So thank you. And very thanks to Encore for your incredible technical support. Much appreciated. We got some early glitches fixed, so thank you. Want to thank our event planners. I don't know if Diana, you can hear out there, but Diana and Debbie, and even Diana's husband, who's free labor. Thank you, Diana, and who will be guiding us. And I want to thank the hotel and the hotel staff, really, for a wonderful venue, great meals, great service. So I think it's just been absolutely fantastic. So it's, of course, I want to thank our sponsors who are up that made the meeting possible, that allowed us to be in this great place and to have, I think, the comfort of some great social events and to be able to bring all the speakers in. So thank you very much to our sponsors. I'm going to close the meeting. So I mean, that's our so thank you for forgiving me that. But in closing it, we have two housekeeping items before the general meeting. So I think Laura's got those regarding the evening, because we're going to have our annual general meeting where the members will stay and everyone else can leave, but we have housekeeping.
Okay, so tonight we have planned a night at the National Gallery, which is about a 10-minute walk from here, and then there'll be a gala dinner afterward. We've had great weather, but unfortunately, it looks like it's gonna rain. So we have umbrellas for everyone. So when we meet in the lobby around 5:15, if possible, we'll have umbrellas for everyone to take, because we might be safe on our way there, but our way back. You meet here? Okay, we're gonna meet right here. Right here, right, okay. And then also just a last minute thing, tomorrow morning, we will have breakfast available in the same place between 8 and 9:30. So if you are staying tonight, you can have breakfast before you head home. Anyway, hope to all see you at the gala.
Jordy up to present.
Okay, so the final thing before people leave, actually, we have a very, very important presentation from Jordi Salasalvado to tell us about next year's meeting, the welcome to next year's meeting.
Thank you, John, Laura, and Cyril. It will be very difficult to organize a symposium such this one because of this interesting program that I have seen here, but also the wonderful Congress venue here in this hotel and this beautiful city. But I would try to encourage you to come for the next meeting that will be in my zone in Spain. This meeting will be organized in collaboration with my institutions that are the Rovira i Virgili University, but also the Institute Pere Virgili, that is the Institute of Research that manage all the money of investigators in our province, in Tarragona, and the Cyber OBN, that is a network of research in Spain related to obesity and nutrition. And the organizing secretariat will be the foundation of the Rovira i Virgili University. Here you have the organizing committee. It will be organized in collaboration, co-organized with Nancy Babio, that is here, and also Joan Vendrell, that is the diabetologist that in our institute and is the head of the Institute of Research. We have now, you can see the website that is active at this moment. And also we have established a scientific local advisory board in relation to all the scientific societies in Spain related to diabetes and nutrition. For example, the cyber DEM, that is the cyber in relation to diabetes, the cyber in relation to obesity and nutrition, the Spanish Society of Nutrition and Endocrinology, the Spanish Society of Diabetes, the Spanish Society of Nutrition and Enteral and Parenteral Nutrition, the Spanish Society of Obesity, and the Spanish Society of Nutrition. So all the societies will be included in this scientific local advisory board. We have established some topics. Perhaps we will change in the next month, but especially in relation to the relevance and the personal interest for this society. And probably we'll have plenary lectures, but we would like to include some debates. I think that this will be interesting. Also sessions that we have had and oral presentations. This is another change that we will try to introduce that we call Science on RIM. That could be a fun and interactive evening at the DNSG after the dinner with a vermouth, a beer, or a cocktail. Participants can voluntarily present a 5-minute oral communication, seriously, on a topic of their choice, followed by a randomly selected song that they must creatively interpret and dance to. The best presentations and performance will be rewarded with a special award, 2 awards. One is the best communication for the most interesting and engaging, informative, etc. And the other award will be the best musical interpretation for the most creative and energetic performance. So this is something that is voluntary. So people that would like to do this can participate, and I hope that especially young people, perhaps they can. If not, older people. So Mike, I think that you would like to be the chair of this session. You said. So also, if some of you would like to be sharing this session, this would be very welcome. Please save the date. The date of this symposium will be between the 15th and 18th of June 26. Remember, if you would like to have some holidays between 23 and 24, we have the Festival of San Juan in all the zone. It's a fire festival at night, during the day, and also in Reus, that is a city near to us, San Pere, that is also 29 is a good possibility in order to go there. So from Canada to Spain. And in Spain, as you can see here, Tarragona and Reus, that is near to the Barcelona. Barcelona is very well communicated, as you know. We have flights, regular flights. But also in Tarragona and Reus, we have another airport, a small airport that has connection especially with Germany, with London, with Glasgow, yes, with Glasgow and other cities in Europe. So this will be very convenient. So to Barcelona, to the venue of the Congress, we have approximately 100 kilometers by train, and 100 kilometers by bus. And from the airport of Reus to the venue, approximately 12 minutes, 12 kilometers. Here you can see the Barcelona, as not possible to, well, Barcelona, you can see Barcelona, and now here, and Tarragona. And here you have the venue. It's near Reus and Tarragona. The most important cities are Tarragona, for the is a Roman city called several years ago Tarraco. Tarraco is a World Heritage archaeological site, the most important site after Rome for the Roman Empire. So it's a beautiful place. Probably we will be there also. And at 10 kilometers, we have Reus. Reus is my city, is the city of my hospital and my university, and is a medieval city, and is the cradle of the Impressionism. For example, Gaudí, the architect Gaudí, has born there. And also, for example, Fortuny, that is one of the first painters, Impressionists in Europe. And here you can see the venue. The venue will be the Termes Montbrió, that is a resort spa. It's this one, very beautiful, as you can see. We have gardens, romantic gardens, a lot of water, and a natural thermal station resort. This zone is the hottest geothermal area in Spain that produces the same energy equivalent to the nuclear power station that we have at 30 kilometers. So imagine it's a good place for this. And we have the surroundings that are the best. For example, nature, because we have mountains at 10 kilometers and the sea at 10 kilometers. Culture, as you can see, more culture. And also history, for example, these monasteries, or for example, Roman ruins, etc. And also, if you would like to do sport or physical activity, there are a lot of things to do. And if you have children, please do not hesitate to go to Portaventura. The Portaventura is a resort. It's an important resort with around that attracts approximately 5 million of people per year. It's the third most important resort of adventure in our zone that perhaps some of you you are children also, perhaps you can go there. And we are preparing a social program that is secret, as you can see. This image is the image of the Mediterranean that has been done by artificial intelligence. And I think it's better, in this castle is near. In this castle, my daughter has been married 1 year ago. And here you have some image.
Hello world, wake me up to another.
Sorry. Better.
Good morning, time to go. Oh, we are all looking for adventure. We are all
Image, but not the rest. And I think it's for the.
looking for. Hello world, wake me up to another good morning, time to go. Oh, we are all looking for adventure. We are all looking for adventure.
Portada,
They are all looking for adventure.
Portaventura. That's it. But I have another surprise because this meeting is in relation to nutrition. So I have another video for you because I suppose that you would like to have to taste the Mediterranean diet. I have to disclose this before. So welcome to the next symposium in Spain.
Okay, thank you, Jordi. That looks wonderful. We're looking forward to that. I'm going to close. I'm going to say thank you to everybody one more time. There's still some coffee out front, I believe, and I'll ask members to come back. We'll take a little break. Members come back in 10 minutes and we'll have our AGM. Thank you.